What if your shorts were so captivating that your viewers couldn't help but keep watching? I want you to make that a reality. So today, we'll be diving into a framework that psychologically forces people to give you views. And trust me, the methods we'll be covering are very effective. They're used by almost every top creator, and I've gotten a lot of success with them as well. So listen up and get ready to apply these to your channel. What's the difference between a short that gets millions of views and a short that gets 100 views? Many people will claim that the only thing separating the two is luck. One got lucky and the other didn't. That couldn't be farther from the truth. In the pursuit of mastering shorts, I've talked to many large creators, I've experimented with hundreds of shorts and several channels, and through this whole process, one thing has been made clear. There is a science behind making shorts, and once you master this science, blowing up and getting millions of views literally becomes easy. So all you need to do is learn how to captivate your audience, and that's exactly what we're discussing. The science of making shorts that are so captivating, people can't stop watching. The process begins before we even start making the short. The ideation stage is where you find the content/idea for your video. And yes, this stage will play a massive role in keeping people engaged. To explain why, we can look at this guy's channel, FitFix. See if you can notice the engagement trick he uses in this short.
This has to be the most terrifying way to do a bungee jump. Just watch how they slowly cut this rope with a knife to make sure you see it gradually rip apart right in front of you.
Oh.
Would you ever try this?
Did you catch it? He purposely used footage with a big climax. That kept people watching because they anticipated what would happen at the end. That's what we call a payoff, and it's gonna be your best tool for making people engaged. Now, of course, the payoff doesn't have to be super intense like this short was. As long as you can give the audience something to wait for, you'll see the benefits. But I've mentioned a payoff many times in previous videos, so I'm sure you already know what it is by now. However, it actually isn't the only way to keep people watching. Like, how can some shorts with no clear payoff still perform well? Let's look at FitFix's most popular short and break it down.
This woman was filming at the gym when someone accidentally walked into frame.
By the way, just so you know, I'm filming this way. I don't mind. I'm gonna say, like, do you mind?
Right. Well, as long as I want to ruin your video.
Oh no, you're not gonna ruin it. It's okay. You can do your absolutely.
I think this was the best way to handle the situation. What do you guys think?
Now, that footage had no clear payoff within it, so why did it perform so well? To understand this, I'll first remind you that a payoff works because it causes anticipation. It makes people anticipate what will happen, which is good for making them stick around. But that isn't the only effective emotion you can use. Wholesome, intense, funny, these can also work very well. In this case, FitFix used a wholesome, positive approach, and it worked. To give people a reason to keep watching, it's effective to make them feel certain strong emotions. So that's the first thing to keep in mind when recording or finding footage. Moving on, we'll stay in a similar niche. Take a look at this short and try to notice what's wrong with it.
This bug decided to help this man in golf, and you won't believe what ends up happening. But the man whose turn was to hit the ball was actually losing the game.
Right, so the idea and content itself is pretty interesting. But let's replay the first 5 seconds again.
This bug decided to help this man in golf, and you won't believe what ends up happening.
Pause it there. All that we've seen so far has been green with a white circle in the middle. Although the idea itself may have been interesting, it wasn't conveyed clearly and effectively with the footage. You want your footage and idea to immediately be understood within seconds. Your viewers should recognize what's going on without you having to physically explain everything. So always ask yourself before getting footage, does this immediately convey what's going on, or would it be hard to tell? And that will play another key role in your ideation. Now, because of how important all of this is, you always want to test your ideation before moving forward with the short. To do this, I'd recommend getting out a piece of paper and trying your best to pretend to be the viewer. Now, from the perspective of a viewer, try to write out at least 3 good reasons to watch your short, only off the idea and footage. If you can't, then the ideation probably isn't that appealing. Real quick, see if you can come up with 3 reasons off this Mr. Beast short. Your narrative is how you compel the viewer to continue watching, which is the root of all success on YouTube Shorts. So really take this seriously. Now, there are a couple factors that go into this, and I'll start by explaining the primary one, which is storytelling. You might hear that word and think, that won't work in my niche. I can't possibly tell a story. But listen, I find it's much easier to think of storytelling as presentation. You start with a boring blank slate, just raw footage, and then you present it in a way that makes it more interesting. To help you better understand that concept, we'll see how these 2 shorts use storytelling to improve their video. Right, so in this first one, the guy isn't even talking, yet he still embedded a story throughout the video through presentation. It wasn't him just sitting there cooking. It was more of a journey or progression to complete the burger. That's how he presented the short to make it more appealing for the average viewer. And now for the second video. In that example, we again see the creator make things entertaining through the storytelling. He turned the video from a shitty Minecraft Let's Play into an actual plot where the ages are slowly progressing. Now, of course, it's much easier to use storytelling if you make voiceover or real-life content. But storytelling truly can be used in any niche, simply through how you present your videos. So hopefully that clears some stuff up. Yet you probably noticed something else as well. These 2 shorts use the same exact soundtrack, and it's no coincidence. I chose these shorts on purpose to showcase the next part of your narrative, your music. There are 2 categories of music you can go for, depending on the type of short you're making: rising music and ambient music. Rising music is used when you have a payoff, while ambient music is used when you have emotion. And we talked about the difference in those back in the ideation section. Now, the 2 shorts we looked at both used rising music, since they had a payoff. This type of music helps enhance the payoff because it adds even more tension and anticipation. To use it, simply pick a song with a beat drop, line the beat drop up with the end, and it psychologically sticks people's attention. Ambient music, on the other hand, is a bit different. With this, we don't actually have a climax, so rising music couldn't work. So we instead just picked music that fits the emotion. And like I said earlier, there's all sorts of emotions to use. Intense, wholesome, funny, whatever it is. Pick a song that fits it well. This makes the emotion stronger and helps immerse the viewer even further. Now, learning to make a good narrative with a strong payoff and storytelling takes some time, but by looking at previous analytics, we can fast track how strong your narrative is in future videos. So if you can, follow along with me. Start by opening YouTube Studio and clicking one of your recent videos. Go to Analytics, scroll down a bit, and you should see this here, the retention graph. If it's not showing up for you, then just go to a slightly older post. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to properly understand this graph and use it to find flaws in your content, since retention is the biggest indicator of performance. So this line represents how many people are watching during each part of the short, and the flatter the line is, the better, since it means less people are leaving. The problem is, most graphs will have certain drops and declines, showing that people are scrolling away. So we're going to look at the 2 most common low retention situations and what causes them. The first being this. Right off the bat, you can tell the difference from the flat example. since while there are some parts where the line is flat, it also has these massive dips where large groups of people are dropping off. There can be a couple things causing this, but the most common one I've seen is giving away the payoff. The second that people no longer see reason in continuing your video, they will scroll away. And another one I see often that could cause these dips is going off topic. So check if you're suffering from either of those things. The second graph we'll look at is this. It doesn't have any dramatic dips, it's just a very gradual decline. Now, although it can be caused by a few things related to your niche and content, it's generally from either a weak hook, a poor topic, a boring video, or a lack of payoff/reason to watch. This section is definitely the most overlooked of them all, but cultivating an audience of people is extremely powerful, and it's the reason why you see all these creators consistently getting millions of views. Going viral once is cool, but imagine thousands of people watching all of your shorts, giving you constant retention, views, and engagement. And the first step to actually building an audience has to do with your niche. Check out this creator. He gets millions of views on every short, and here's a quick look at some of his content.
Let's make a $1, $10, and $50 grilled cheese. Today, I'm making meals for Minecraft to see if it's any good. First up, the infamous...
Okay, so his channel is obviously based on cooking. Now, if we scroll up a bit, millions of views and millions of views, and then we see this short. Right off the bat, you can tell it's different, and it clearly performed worse than usual. Let's see why.
I'm on a mission to find the best 10 out of 10 sandwich. For our first stop, we're going to Jersey Mike's. I figured we should try how Kev eats his infamous Jersey Mike's order. In this bag is a number 9 Mike's Way with no mayo and light cherry pepper relish with jalapenos. Let's see if that shit's any good.
Now, I could imagine that short performing decently on a food review channel. However, all of his other content is him cooking food with a voiceover. Even though he stayed in the same niche of food, his presentation and idea was much different than usual, and his audience obviously didn't want that. You need to stick within a certain, not just niche, but style. You want your shorts to carry similar feelings and structure in a way that your audience can seamlessly watch through your content. Obviously, you don't have to make the same short every time, it's fine to branch out a bit, but at least keep the same general feel of your videos. Another huge thing that I've found when it comes to building an audience is to not be very polarizing. You want to make your shorts appeal to the majority of people. This means staying away from very unpopular topics and avoiding things that most people would find boring or repulsive. I've also found community posts as well are good for building a relationship with your viewers. So I'd say try to do those at least once per week to make your channel more interactive. So that's everything we'll be covering today. If you want more advanced tips for improving your shorts, then click the link